tried it, so you don't have to.
You were the talk of the town.
And I was the talk of the town because Patrick pinches butts.
Butt pincher.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So for this video, I thought I'd take some fun quizzes. We love learning more about ourselves and how I choose my answers, I guess. And I really enjoy finding out what these silly quizzes have to say about me. So why don't we dive right on in and get into our first quiz. So our first quiz is titled, "If you fail this home economics test, there's no way you can live on your own." So let's see. Which ingredient should you be sure to keep separate from the others while preparing food? Potatoes, raw chicken, lettuce, or tomatoes? The answer is raw chicken, and it's correct. What goes on this line where you're writing a check? Is it what the check is for, recipient's name, your name, or your signature? It's your signature. Correct. Which field of economics deals with the behavior of individuals? Is it family economics, financial economics, macro, or microeconomics? I have no clue, so I'm going to say micro. I'm correct. See, shot in the dark. Which of these best represents modern interior design? I'm going to say this one. I'm correct. Which of these is not key to a wholesome diet? Balance, consistency, variety, or moderation? Variety. Wrong. The correct answer is consistency. Oops. Which of the following is a seam ripper? It's this one, and I'm correct. How many fluid ounces are in a cup? 8, 10, 12, or 16? I believe there are 8. Correct again. There are many ways to sew on buttons like these, but you should always be sure to do what? Make an X with the thread, don't double the thread, wrap around or stitch through the seam, tie a knot with the thread at the beginning. Tie a knot with the thread at the beginning? Incorrect. You need to wrap around or stitch through the stem. Okay, good to know. Which of these can a 1-year-old typically do? Sit up without help, speak in sentences, remember most names, or follow 2-step directions? I'm going to say sit up without help. And I'm correct. Apparently I'm an expert in home economics, and that's great to know. Why don't we move on to the next one? So our next quiz is live a day like it's 2000, and we'll tell you which Disney villain you're most like. So let's start with pick a TV show to watch with your family. Ed, Gilmore Girls, Survivor, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Futurama, Malcolm in the Middle, Trading Spaces, Whose Line Is It Anyways, or Everybody Loves Raymond. Well, I remember growing up that I was obsessed with Trading Spaces. It was the best TLC show ever, in my opinion, so I'm going to go with that. What song are you downloading from LimeWire? Is it Try Again by Alia? Doesn't Really Matter by Janet Jackson? What a Girl Wants by Christina Aguilera? Pardon Me by Incubus? Oops, I Did It Again by Britney Spears? Big Pimpin' by Jay-Z? Goodbye Earl by the Dixie Chicks? Beautiful Day by U2? Or Music by Madonna? More than likely it would have been Oops, I Did It Again by Britney Spears. Which movie are you most excited to see in theaters? Gladiator, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Meet the Parents, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Bring It On, Charlie's Angels, X-Men, Unbreakable, or Almost Famous? Probably for me, Meet the Parents, because I remember when I saw the trailer for that as a kid, it looked super fun and cool and spooky but silly at the same time. Which store are you headed into first when you're at the mall? Limited to B. Dalton Bookseller, The Sharper Image, Sam Goody, Warner Brothers Studio, Abercrombie & Fitch, Old Navy, Gadzooks, or KB Toys. So back in 2000, I would have been roughly 7 years old. So more than likely, the store I would have wanted to go into was probably the Warner Brothers Studio store, because it was probably full of like merchandise from like TV shows and movies. Which brand new album are you going to burn a copy of? No Strings Attached by NSYNC. All That You Can't Leave Behind by U2. Music by Madonna. Oops, I Did It Again by Britney Spears. One by the Beatles. The Marshall Mathers LP by Eminem. Stankonia by Outkast. Parachutes by Coldplay. Or Voodoo by D'Angelo. More than likely, the album I would have burned a copy of would have been the Oops, I Did It Again album. Finally, pick a 90s movie to rent. Clueless, Jurassic Park, Pretty Woman, Pulp Fiction, Toy Story, Titanic, Home Alone, Men in Black, or The Sandlot. More than likely it would have been Home Alone. And the villain I would be most like with my choices is Ursula. It says, your ambition is intense and unquestionable, and you're not afraid to do whatever it takes to get what you deserve. Plus, your sense of humor and outgoing personality puts people under your spell. That's right, I'm a salty sea wench. And let's move on to the next quiz. Our next quiz is titled, Make Some Choices to See Which 2019 song will perfectly sum up your 2020. So why don't we get right into that? Choose a male singer. We have Shawn Mendes, Harry Styles, Niall Horan, Post Malone, Troye Sivan, or this guy named ATL, which I believe it looks like Charlie Puth. I would pick Shawn Mendes out of all those options. Also Canadian represent. Choose a female singer. Selena Gomez, Ariana Grande, Lizzo, Billie Eilish, Rihanna, or Lana Del Rey. So let's say Rihanna wasn't on the board, because obviously it's going to be Rihanna. I'd have a really hard time picking between Lizzo and Ariana Grande. If Rihanna wasn't on the board, because obviously I'm going to pick her, I'd have a hard time choosing between Lizzo and Ariana Grande, because I think they're both amazing singers and artists. But since Rihanna's on the board, it's Rihanna. Choose a Friends character. Chandler Bing, Monica, Ross, Rachel, Phoebe, or Joey. Well, let me give you my unpopular but popular Friends opinion. I don't like Ross. I think Ross is the most annoying of all of them. Personally, my favorite, number one, is always going to be Monica. So it'd be Monica for me. I just feel like I could relate to her more. Choose a color. Pink, yellow, blue, purple, black, or green. Green's my favorite color, so it's going to be green. Choose a 2020 resolution. Work out more, find love, eat better, make new friends, travel more, or try harder at work or school. More than likely for me, just work out more. I try my best eating the best I can to an extent, and all the other ones I'm pretty good at, I'd say. And lastly, choose a 2019 movie. Joker, Avengers Endgame, Little Women, Hustlers, It Chapter 2, or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Never saw Hustlers, or Once Upon a Time, or Little Women, or The Avengers Endgame. I know, sue me. So between It Chapter 2 and Joker, I really like Joker out of those two, so I'm going to go with that. So, what 2019 song will sum up my 2020? The song is If I Can't Have You by Shawn Mendes. 2020 will be the year in which you'll sadly get your heart broken. Oh my gosh. Whether a friendship or a relationship is ending, you just can't seem to let this person go. Just know that it will all get better, and maybe in the end you'll end up with someone better. Well, that's a positive 2020 outlook right there. Thankfully, it's just a quiz, and I don't read into these sometimes too much. Why don't we move on to our next one? Our next quiz is titled, We Know What Will Happen to You in 2020. Pick some things celebrating their anniversaries this year to find out. Hopefully it's a better outcome than my last quiz answer. So first, pick a movie that's turning 20. Final Destination, X-Men, Bring It On, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Miss Congeniality, Charlie's Angels, Castaway, or The Emperor's New Groove. I'd have a hard time picking between Miss Congeniality and The Emperor's New Groove, because those are like the best movies ever, in my opinion, out of these options. Excuse me. But I have to give it up to The Emperor's New Groove. I don't think it gets the attention that it deserves. It's very comedic, funny, and the villain's really hilarious. Pick a movie that's turning 10. How to Train Your Dragon, Toy Story 3, Harry Potter Deathly Hallows Part 1, Black Swan, Tangled, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Easy A, or Iron Man 2. Black Swan all the way. Love that movie. I just feel so fancy for some reason when I'm watching it. Also, it's dark and spooky, and I really enjoy that movie. Choose a song that's turning 20. Bye 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 by NSYNC, Beautiful Day by U2, Stand by Eminem, Kryptonite by Three Doors Down, American Pie by Madonna, It's My Life by Bon Jovi, Who Let the Dogs Out by the Baha Men, or In the End by Linkin Park. Out of these ones, I really like In the End by Linkin Park, so I'm going to choose that one. It's a good song, and I really got into it when I was in high school. Choose a song that's turning 10. Love the Way You Lie by Eminem featuring Rihanna, Rolling in the Deep by Adele, Animal by Neon Trees, Only Girl in the World by Rihanna, OMG by Usher, Just the Way You Are by Bruno Mars, Dancing on My Own by Robyn, or Teenage Dream by Katy Perry. I love Dancing on My Own by Robyn. I think it's such a good song, and it just came on like 2 days ago, and I forgot how much I love that song. However, I gotta give it to my girl Riri, Only Girl in the World. I remember when I get up for school, that'd be my alarm to wake me up, so I gotta give it to her. Pick a cartoon that's turning 10. Ben 10 Ultimate Alien, Adventure Time, Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, Young Justice, Generator Rex, The Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, or Symbiotic Titan. Scooby-Doo. Gotta give it to Scooby-Doo. Love the mystery. I grew up watching Scooby-Doo. I found the Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated is an interesting twist on the classic Scooby-Doo mystery, just because it has an actual full-on storyline with that series. And it's one that I recommend that you check it out. Obviously, it's silly because it's meant for kids, but it is a good series. Choose an album that's turning 20. The Marshall Mathers LP by Eminem, All That You Can't Leave Behind by U2, Black and Blue by the Backstreet Boys, Country Grammar by Nelly, No Strings Attached by NSYNC, Parachutes by Coldplay, Can't Take Me Home by Pink, or Oops, I Did It Again by Britney Spears. Well, which one do you think I'm going to pick? Oops, I Did It Again by Britney Spears. And finally, pick an album that's turning 10. Plastic Beach by The Gorillaz, Thank Me Later by Drake, Recovery by Eminem, Speak Now by Taylor Swift, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West, Pink Friday by Nicki Minaj, Contra by Vampire Weekend, or Thousand Suns by Linkin Park. Gotta give it to the Nicki Minaj, Pink Friday. It's a good album, and I like the songs. So, what will my 2020 look like? It says, you'll be betrayed by a dear friend. Sorry to have to be the one to tell you this, but it looks like someone dear to you is going to betray you. They'll be very sneaky about it, so try to keep an eye out. Wow, that's 2 quizzes that say my heart will be broken. The first one said, may I buy a relationship or a friendship? And this one says, betrayed by a friend. So I think it's going to be a friend and not a relationship. Oh boy, I can't wait. Let's move on to our last quiz. All right, I think I finally recovered from the sting of the last 2 quizzes. Let's hopefully see if this one's nicer to me. It's, where do you fall on the dateability spectrum? So when faced with a decision, which do you prefer to listen to? Logic or emotion? Or both? I prefer to base it off of logic. Oh, and it's a scale. Ooh, I'm gonna go with leaning more towards logic. Normally, you describe yourself as introverted or extroverted or in the middle. I'd say I'm more in the middle. Sometimes you'll catch me, I'm very extroverted. Sometimes you'll catch me, I can be very introverted. It depends on the situation and the mood I'm in. Where do you, what does it say? Whenever you see a problem, you always confront it. Never true or always true. When I see a problem, I will 9 times out of 10 always confront it. I'm someone that likes tackling the problem and dealing with it and getting it done and over with. I don't like letting it stew and not dealing with it and leaving the elephant in the room, so to speak. You break a priceless heirloom that belongs to a close friend. How likely is it that you'll come clean about what happened? I will 90% come clean. The reason for that is I have broken something before and didn't tell. Well, I told my friend, but it was at their grandparents' place, and it was like one of those Adirondack plastic chairs. And I told my friend, or my friend knew about it, but we didn't say anything. And then the grandparents realized the next day, oh, it was broken. We're like, oh, how'd that happen? So secret's out now. It was me that broke your chair. If you're lost, how likely are you to stop and ask for directions? If I'm lost and I have no other way of asking for directions, I will highly likely ask for directions. I ain't one of those stereotypical men that won't ask for directions. I need to know where I'm going. Work calls you and asks you to come in on your day off. What are you most likely to do? Always stay home or always go in? Luckily, in my job, I don't get phone calls to come in on my days off. If that were to happen, it'd have to be something super urgent or necessary. So 9 times out of 10, I would go in. Be honest, how often do you floss your teeth? The scale is always to never. Surprisingly enough, I almost floss every day, and that isn't a lie. So I will say close to always. In general, how optimistic do you think you are? Generally pessimistic or generally optimistic is the scale. I will lean more towards generally optimistic. Sometimes you'll catch me, I'll be pessimistic, but I always try and see the good in everything and try to stay positive with everything. Even when someone's being negative, I can always kind of find the positive in everything. So I'd say I'm generally optimistic. How likely are you to go out of your way to do a favor for someone? The scale goes between highly unlikely or highly likely. Likelihood, highly likely. Middle ground for that. Reason for that is I like helping people. Only though and I know this sounds terrible to say, but I will likely help someone if they, or do something, go out of my way to do a favor for someone, if I'll give everyone the benefit of the doubt and will go out of my way for someone. However, if they burn me, if ever I needed something, then I'll remember in the future not to go out of my way as freely, because clearly they can't put aside something to help me out, so why should I do the same for them? However, if it's a first time, I will 9 times out of 10 go out of my way to help or do the favor. How likely are you to ask for favors? Well, like I said, if I go out of my way, sometimes I'll ask for favors. And if I've gone out of my way for you, I kind of hope that you do the same for me. So I would say medium to highly likely. The reason for that is I don't usually ask for a lot of favors. So it depends. And it depends on the person. I'm more likely to ask my dad, let's say, for a favor, more so than a friend, let's say. If a significant other had a harmless habit you found annoying, how likely would you be to confront them? The scale is very unlikely to very likely. For me, I'd keep it right in the middle. The reason for that is it's harmless. Let it go. However, if I found it super annoying, I might say something depending on how I found it annoying. Let's say it's something that drives me completely up the wall, I might have to say something. But if it's like, yeah, it's annoying, but whatever, I could probably get over it real quick. You're good with kids. Strongly disagree or strongly agree? I'd say more towards strongly disagree. The reason for that is I'm decent with kids, and when I get into it, I can be good with kids, but it's an act for me, and it gets very exhausting and very draining. that's just how I am. So I'm okay with kids, but I'm not the best. You like to play hard to get? I would say never true. The scale was never true or always true. Never true. I don't like playing hard to get. I hate playing games. You know what? If you're interested in me and I'm interested in you, great, bonus. I won't do the whole aloof thing. I find that ridiculous. Where do you feel you fall on the spontaneity spectrum? Impulsive or a planner? I lean more towards a planner, but I also like being impulsive from time to time. I'll be someone that will plan ahead, but will impulsively plan ahead. I'll be like, oh, I really want to do that. Let's do that. But I'll plan for that once I impulsively decide on it. So I'm kind of torn between both, but I'm more of a planner than being super impulsive. How likely are you to say you're sorry even when you're not at fault? I will unlikely say I'm sorry if I'm not at fault. I might say I'm sorry you feel that way, or I'm sorry you believe that, but I won't say I'm sorry, because if I'm not at fault, I'm not at fault. And I mean obviously not at fault, not at fault because I think I'm right. You use hand gestures when you talk. I do. I'm French. I'm part French, so I speak when I talk. Sorry, Mike, there. But, so I'd say close to always. And finally, where do you fall on the pet lover spectrum? Do I hate pets or do I love pets? Pets. I do like pets. I wouldn't say I love pets, but I do really like pets. I like dogs. I like cats. Personally, I'd say I'm more of a cat person, but I do really like dogs. I grew up with dogs and cats. It depends on the dog for me, though. I like bigger dogs. I don't like the small little dogs. And I like a bigger dog that's behaved, isn't jumpy and barky all the time. That really gets on my nerves. Cats, I think they're hilarious. I think they're evil and mischievous, and I think I love that about them. So that's just how I am with pets. I do really like pets. Although some people that I do know will say that I must hate pets because I like cats more than dogs. And where do I fall on the dateability spectrum? I'm 100% dateable, guys. That's good to know. I think I'm in love with you. Just kidding, but everyone else is. You're a genuine person who knows what you want and how to communicate it. You're a fixer. If you see a problem in your relationship, you focus on it earnestly with an intent to fix it. You're optimistic, down to earth, compassionate, but you're also great at setting boundaries and articulating the things that upset you to make your relationship stronger. 100% dateable for sure. Now isn't that a nice quiz to end on? Not like the other ones that said I'm going to be betrayed this year and be heartbroken because of it. I think that's a nice quiz to end on. So I hope you guys like those quizzes. I think they were fun to take. I'll make sure to leave links to the quizzes down below in the description so you guys can try them out yourselves. And let me know what answers you get for the quizzes. I'm always curious to find out what you guys get when you take these quizzes. But that's it for me. Make sure to check me out on my Patreon. It's a great way to support me. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye!